Hello, everyone. This is Southern by Whisper. I hope you all are doing well today. Today has been 1 week since I decided to stop smoking and drinking. Let me just tell you guys, I feel like a total different person. I feel like my mind has been rid of the fog that I've been in for 12 years. I feel like my eyes have been opened more to the blessings that God has bestowed upon my life, including you guys. Your support and comments of "you've got this, stay strong," has meant the world to me. It has mattered to me that I had support from you all. You guys help me more than you know. And I want this video to be just a little bit different. There was an ASMR artist back in the day. She doesn't make videos anymore, and I can't remember her name, but she made a video where she just talked about some of her favorite heartwarming, inspiring stories. And I actually have a playlist on YouTube that is full of inspiring, heartwarming stories that make your heart happy stories. And I go to that playlist every time I'm going through a hard time, or I'm going through a storm in my life, or maybe I just want to be happy. I want to feel happy. I want to feel inspired. I will go to that playlist and watch every single story, every single one. So that is what we are going to be rambling about today. And then I am going to share one of my heartwarming stories with you guys. But I made a list of most of them, because I feel like if I get inspired by these stories, there might be somebody out there that watches this video and either relates, or they can look up this story on YouTube and get just as inspired as I do by them. You guys know how I want to make a difference somehow, some way. So let's get started. This story, I think I was 16 or 17 when my mother showed us this story on YouTube, and I'll never forget it. She showed me and my brother Gabriel the video. I think a friend of hers from work had showed it to her, and that is Christian the Lion. If you guys have never heard about it, it's just a video where it tells the story of Christian the Lion. And I Will Always Love You by Whitney Houston is playing in the video. And it just talks about how, I don't know if they were a couple, but did I write down both names? Apparently in 1969, John Rendell and, what's the other guy's name? Hold on one second. Oh my gosh. Ace Berg had adopted a lion cub. But as we all know, lions grow up and then they're supposed to be let go back into the wild. And Christian the Lion grew up, of course, and John and Ace had to set him out into the wild. But a year later, they decide to go looking for him. And, people are telling them, they're like, he's probably a lion of his own tribe now. He probably won't recognize you. Like, he'll probably kill you pretty much. It's a lion. But they didn't listen. They were like, ain't no way. They're going to know us. Or he's going to know us. Don't worry about it. We're still going. We still want to find him. So they go, they find Christian. And you guys, like, Christian is walking down this hill, and he sees them, and they're smiling all happy about finding him. And he runs down that hill to them and starts loving on them. Like doing his little head. Like, it's just, oh man, I wish I could describe it better than that. But I remember crying the first time I watched that video. I watch it all the time because people told those two men, they told John and Ace that Christian wouldn't know them and he would be trying to protect his pack of lions, his wife and the cubs, whatever. But they didn't listen. And thank God they didn't listen. And it's so sweet. I've never seen anything like it. He just runs down, and of course Whitney Houston singing, I will always love you, it just makes it that much more better. So if you've never heard of Christian the Lion, I know his story was released in 2008 on CNN. So it is on YouTube. So I definitely recommend it. Oh man. The Everything Lifehouse skit. Another one that my mother shared with me when I was a teenager. It is a religious skit. It shows Jesus and a woman, celebrating, dancing, when you first get saved, and they're dancing and, loving each other. But then she gets, what's the word? Hold on, I'll think of the word and I'll be right back. In the skit, the woman, I think the first guy is supposed to be like a relationship. And there's money. Guy in a yellow shirt is supposed to be money. Like anything that takes her away from the love of Jesus. Like relationship, money. There's a girl in the skit. There's a girl that in the skit that's supposed to be like partying, drinking, doing drugs. Another one, a model, where the girl's like, oh, I have to be bulimic because I want to be a model. And what else? And then the last character in the skit is supposed to be the devil, evil. And it shows her, it's actually pretty intense, you guys. It shows her cutting herself, and then the evil spirit, he's dressed all in black, and it shows the evil spirit giving her a gun, and she's just walking back and forth and crying, and then she puts the gun to her head like she's going to commit suicide, and she throws the gun down and runs back to Jesus and has to fight through all these people that are supposed to reference, partying, relationship, evil, money, and she's fighting these people or these things, people but things, to try to get back to Jesus. And it is one of my favorite skits of all time. I watched that skit when I first moved here. You watch it as a teenager and you don't really relate. But when I watched it when I first moved here, oh boy, did I relate. Did I relate big time. It's a beautiful skit. You guys, I cannot recommend it enough. And any of these you can find on YouTube, by the way. I love that skit. I'm probably doing a pretty bad job of trying to describe it to you guys, but whew, I wish my church would do that skit. Like seriously, I might ask them if they'll do that skit because it's just wonderful. It's just wonderful. Another one is the death crawl from Facing the Giants. I watched that movie for the first time when I was a teenager, and once again couldn't really relate to it, but I used to get goosebumps still. But now when I watch it, and what's the guy's name? Brock it's called Death Crawl. It's like a football exercise where he has to have somebody on his back and he has to crawl the whole field with this guy on his back. And what makes it so wonderful is how the coach gets down on his level and Brock is like, I can't do it. And the coach is like, you can do it. Keep going. Don't you give up on me. If you guys need to watch Facing the Giants, okay? But the death crawl, oh my gosh. It reminds me of that night on the beach for me. How Jesus probably was right there with me and was like, where I was like, I'm not strong enough. I'm so weak. I'm so tired. And he was probably right there with me saying, you're strong. You got this. Don't give up on me. Oh my gosh. There's also a few contestants. I don't watch like The Voice or American Idol that much anymore. I used to be obsessed with it. But there are a few contestants from AGT that I love to watch when I want to feel inspired or just get like butterflies, make my heart happy. And a few of my favorites that are in this inspiring, heartwarming playlist: Susan Boyle, who sang I Dreamed a Dream on AGT, and everybody at first was making fun of her, because she wasn't beautiful. She was funny though. Gosh, she was funny. But like Simon and Pierce and everybody was like laughing at her. And then she starts singing I dreamed a dream in time gone by. Oh my gosh. And Simon was like, his eyebrows went like, oh my gosh. Simon loved her. And I think she's still singing to this day. But what I love about her was that everybody was laughing at her. And she proved them all wrong. I love that. Another one is Paul Potts. Actually, those two might have been on Britain's Got Talent. Paul Potts sang opera. And I know exactly which opera song it was. Oh my and I cannot think of the name right now, but I know he won that season on Britain's Got Talent. I think it was. He did. He won. One of the most beautiful opera singers I've ever heard in my life. Another person where it was like, people were laughing at him, like, oh, yeah, right, you're an opera singer, yeah, right. Oh, beautiful. And another, the last one is a recent, and that is Richard Goodall. And I know that he did win America's Got Talent. I don't think anybody was necessarily laughing at him. He was a janitor at a local school, and I know a lot of his students were in the audience watching him, and he was just so nervous, and it was so cute. And he sang my favorite song, Don't Stop Believing. And he ended up winning as well. I love a good underdog story, you guys. I love a good underdog story. And now the last two are recents. Are two stories that I actually heard about today. And gosh, you guys, I wish I could describe to you guys the feeling that I get when I read stories or watch stories like this. Like, my heart fills with so much inspiration that it could just burst. I'll do the number 2 one, and then I'll do the number 1, and I'll tell you guys about one of my stories. This one was about Jonathan Stanley. Jonathan Stanley was the author of a book, or is an author of a book called, hold on, I wrote it down, Purposeful Performance, The Secret Mix of Committing, Leading, and Succeeding. And this woman who was on TikTok, her name is Taylor Delaney, and she noticed him at Barnes & Noble. He had like one of those tables where authors sit so that people can come up and buy the book and get it signed by the author. And she noticed that he did not have not one customer come up to him and buy his book. And she felt so bad for him. And this story gives me such faith in humanity, you guys. She sends her 4-year-old daughter, Ella, to go and talk to him. And she was telling him how she wanted to grow up one day and be a writer herself. 4 years old, you guys. And now he started off having a booth at Barnes & Noble where nobody was coming to buy his book. And now his book is sold out. Now his book is a bestseller because, hold on, I'll be right back. But now his book is a bestseller and it's sold out because of this woman. After she posted this video on TikTok, it's gotten 75 million views. 75 million. I wish I heard, like, I told you guys I'd never watch the news anymore. It depresses me. But I wish there were more stories like this. Just because of that, Taylor and Ella, this man, his life has been changed because of them. I might have to check out his book as well. He also has a TikTok himself, and he just seems like the sweetest person. And they changed his life. just by taking into account and noticing him. It's just so sweet. So sweet. Okay, my favorite inspirational, heartwarming moment. I used to watch Survivor all the time when I was younger, and I watched it with my ex a lot too. I've always actually really enjoyed Survivor, and I think it's on season 48. Wow. But I actually learned about this today. Apparently, it happened on Wednesday night episode. And this is pretty much, Survivor starts off with 18 contestants. And then at a certain point, everybody is put into different tribes. And before they were put into different tribes, this woman, Ava Erickson, had disclosed to Joe Hunter, who is a contestant, firefighter, really great guy. Oh my gosh, so great. And she said, I struggle with autism. And she said, please, can I count on you? If we're at a point in this season, if I become overwhelmed, will you help me? So, and I'm actually going to start watching this season. But apparently they did, oh gosh, what do you call it? The little, man. Ava won immunity for her team. That's all I know. They went through this, whatever they had to go through to win immunity, and she got overwhelmed. And just imagine, everybody in her tribe does not know that she's autistic. They don't know what's going on. All they know is they're trying to comfort her. They're like, oh my gosh, because she's crying, she's sobbing, and they're all trying to comfort her, like, oh my gosh, it's okay, Ava, it's okay. But none of them know that she is autistic and that she's overwhelmed. And Joe, who is in a different tribe, is standing over there watching her, knowing exactly what's going on because she had disclosed to him, I'm autistic, and if I become overwhelmed, please comfort me. But Jeff, the host, is watching her have this episode, and he was like, Joe, go give her a hug. And Joe didn't have to be asked twice. And he goes to give Ava a hug, and the whole time he's telling her, he said, you're right here, remember, you're right here, you're strong, I got you, oh my gosh, you guys, holy moly, wow, it was just so sweet. And then that's when she tells everybody, I'm autistic, and Joe was the only one I disclosed this to. It was just so sweet. You guys, it was so sweet and inspiring. And once again, it gives me faith that there are good people in this world. So, oh man, I'm probably going to watch that again after this video, to tell you the truth. But to end this video, I want to tell you kind of a heartwarming story. Myself, I told you guys I made a new friend at church, Jay. And I really don't know how it happened. But before I met Jay, I was writing in my journal. I was at home, and I told you guys I have like one friend. I have two best friends actually, but I don't get to hang out with them that much. And I was just writing in my journal talking about David and how lonely I was. And Jay had added me on Facebook, and then I saw him at church. He was like, hi, and came over and gave me a hug. Imagine, you guys, I've never met this person in my life. But apparently he noticed me at church, sitting by myself, a loner, like, so he added me. We met at church. He was like all waving. He saw me and waved like, and gave me a hug. And then what happened? He posted a live video on Facebook where he was just inconsolable, crying, talking about, trying to keep the faith. And he has since deleted that live. But I saw it, and I sent him a message like this long. And I was like, I just want you to know, stay strong. You've got this. And I think since that day, it all changed. Since that message I sent him. Because right after he made that live, he deleted it. But I saw it, and I noticed. And I sent him a message. And that was all it took. And then I posted a post, I think about a week or two later, about wanting to go for a walk. And he said, let me know if you need a walking buddy. And I went on a walk with him. My parents were like, Kelly, do you even know this guy? They were like, please, take a weapon with you or something. But you guys, imagine George from my best friend's wedding. That's who Jay reminds me of a lot. Exactly him. And it has just felt like I've known this kid all my life. And I think that's what God does. He sends people in your life, the right people that he knows that you need. Like I told you, okay, I'm getting ahead of myself. But we went on that walk, and then he came over here to my house one day. I showed him the river, and I am so grateful for him. So grateful. Especially going through these withdrawals. My pastor's wife was like, you should invite Jay to Wednesday services because he'd never been before. And I was really praying he would say yes, because on Wednesday, what's today, Saturday, on Wednesday, I was still going through my withdrawals pretty badly. And I was like, God, I need his support right now. Please, please, please let him say yes. And he did. He was like, I'll be there. And I was at church, you guys. I was a wreck at Wednesday night service. A total wreck. And everybody was out sick at church. That's the crazy thing. Everybody was out sick. Half of our congregation was out sick. But I sat with Jay, and at one point we're all singing Through the Fire. If you guys have ever heard about that spiritual song. And my pastor came up to me and grabbed my hand and was praying over me. And Jay, wrapped his arm around me to give me comfort and support. And God, I'm just so oh my gosh, I am so grateful. I've never had a best friend so quickly. I've never had somebody become a best friend so quickly in my life. Ever. Well, I mean, not like this. Not like this. Like I told you guys about Danielle and the biscuit and everything, and Alexis. But it feels like I had to be comfortable with Alexis and Danielle. I had to learn to be comfortable and not be afraid to be myself. With Jay, it was instantaneous. I knew he wasn't going to judge me. I can be myself with him. And oh my gosh, he is so freaking funny. You guys, he is so freaking funny. But also on Wednesday night, and I'd gotten my job by that point, and he mentioned sushi. And I was like, oh my gosh, I love sushi. He said, you like sushi? I said, yeah, I love sushi. And he said, well, how about this? I'll take you out to dinner on Friday night to celebrate your new job. I said, I'd love that. Because when he came over to visit my house and my parents and everything, I made lunch for him. So he was like, but he said, I owe you this. He said, I'll take you out to dinner and we'll celebrate your new job. And every time I said, thank you so much for caring, he would say, you deserve it. I don't know what I'd do without you. He actually said that to me, you guys. I've never had anybody in my life say that to me. You deserve it. I don't know what I'd do without you. Your friendship means the world to me. But we had the best time last night, you guys. I had sushi. You guys know I love sushi. We laughed, and I didn't want to go home. Like, we drove around. He showed me certain areas in the country where I've never even, he knows where all the best spots are. If you know where Whitfield, Virginia is and Sand Mountain is, he took me there, and you could see all of Whitfield, all the lights of Whitfield, and just, gosh. Last night was one of the best nights of my life. Seriously. We laughed. We had a great dinner. I remember as we were going up that dirt road, Sand Mountain, he was like, and this is where I'm going to murder you. So I got my pepper spray ready. It's just... And then he told me something that broke my heart. I said, your other friends probably don't laugh at the things you say or do as much as I do. I said, you're probably going to get annoyed at how much I laugh at what you say and do. He said, I don't have any friends but you. I was like, how is that possible? How is that possible that you don't have a whole group of friends? That people are just so judgmental these days. People are so judgmental, and they don't get to know people these days. I wish I could punch people in the face sometimes. But he has quickly become a best friend. My best friend. And I don't know what I'd do without him. Also, last night, he told me, he said, guess who popped up on my people you may know on Facebook? I said, who? He said, your ex. I said, how is that possible? I said, you don't even know my married name. He said, yeah, I didn't know his name either. But he popped up on my people you may know. So I obviously got a rat on my Facebook that told my ex about him. Because usually that's what happens, is somebody's looking at your Facebook and then they pop up on the people you may know. So obviously I've got somebody on my Facebook that knows about him. I was like, I don't care, whatever. Like, there was this video that he said, oh, he was like, nobody reacts to his post. He said, nobody. He said, nobody reacts to his post. Like, he posted something that said, how life is when you don't have a bitch nagging in your ear all the time. And it was like that scene from Spider-Man or whatever where he's joyfully walking down the street, strutting his stuff. I was like, right. But yeah, that really, like, I was tripping over that because I was like, who the hell told him? But anyways, we had a great night last night. One of the best. One of the absolute best. And the crazy thing is, I found myself, where it pertains to David, too, talking to him more, getting to know him more. But it's not always the first thing on my mind anymore. It's not always something I'm obsessing over because I'm not lonely anymore. I'm not. I'm happy. I'm content. That was all it was loneliness. Like, yeah, I do think the world of David still, I do. But it's not something that I obsess over like I did. And I'm grateful for that. But anyways, you guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I know it's all over the place, but I love you guys. And I will be talking to you soon. Love you guys. Bye-bye.